What you see here is Montana Whitetail, public land Montana Whitetail. Randy going to his little spot, kind of this little out of the way place that's overlooked that I can almost count on. If I go there in mid-November, I'm gonna see 4 or 5 bucks a day and everyone else is gonna overlook it. And whether it's state land, Forest Service, BLM, whatever, there are these little pockets throughout the West that you whitetail hunters in the Midwest, if you knew how consistent and how good it could be, you guys would be out here in droves.
Well, time for me to get ready to go hopefully kill my Montana whitetail today. I've got one day to deer hunt here in Montana in between trips. And if I can get it killed today, I can hopefully pack it out tomorrow morning, get everything packed and ready for the next trip, because the following day we head to Wyoming for a 5-day elk hunt. So, gonna be filming myself, so if it's dicey, this is Randy's tool for the day. This is Randy's, hopefully, real tool for the day. And let's go see it happens.
This is one of those really fun things for me to do. I had a day, maybe a day and a half of where I could go and try to fill my Montana deer tag. And I'm gonna apologize in advance, folks, that the normal high production quality that you see in our show is probably compromised on this hunt because it's all me. I'm carrying 2 video cameras, 2 tripods, my rifle, everything. And I filmed it all myself because my camera guy, when we got home, I said, hey, what are you doing the next few days? I got this little window of time. Maybe we could go film a Montana deer hunt. He's like, it's my wife's birthday. I'm like, forget about that. You're not missing your wife's birthday to come and film a deer hunt with me. So there are so many places on public land in the West that have whitetails. And that's why you go in my shop and you're gonna see maybe 4 or 5 mule deer from Montana and probably 20 whitetails, because there is so much whitetail opportunity. And everyone thinks because on TV, all they see are private land hunts in Montana or Wyoming. No, there is tons of public land opportunity. Tons. And one of the things you're going to see in this hunt is how, even though you see me hunt burns for elk or mule deer, I also look at burns for places I know whitetail live. Because if the drainage burns, usually down in the creek bottom, there's some finger draws that don't burn, they keep green. The vegetation stays there. And if you hunt whitetails, you know that whitetails love cover. Elk and mule deer can deal with, okay, I'll go hide in the rocks or the blowdown or the whatever. but you can consistently find high densities of whitetails in these places that did not burn. And I don't care if that's southeast Montana, northern Idaho, northeast Wyoming.
Right now I've got a really big forky buck with eye guard, so I guess he's a 3x3. That feels good. He's right down on this bottom here, but I don't know. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning with ruts. I don't know if I want to shoot a forky buck or a 3x3, even though he's probably this wide. It's 1/4 times. Big, he's heavy. He's a mature bodied buck, but
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Leupold Optics, Go Hunt Insider, changing how hunts are found, Kenetrek Boots for the trail less traveled, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and by Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. We call the game.
right down the camera, right down there. There's like this little, not little, a mature, nice big buck, but he's like a forky with eye guards, and he's definitely a mature whitetail. But at 9 o'clock in the morning, the rut's hot and heavy. I just want to see what's here. I don't know. Maybe I'll shoot him later. He's a big bodied deer. But I guess that's a nice dilemma to have. Too many deer, or too much running activity.
Boy, he wants to be on TV in a bad way. The temptation is almost more than I can bear. In this spot where I'm going to, it's a spot that is a little bit out of the way, and all the elk hunters just hike right by it, ride their horses right past it. And being a whitetail junkie, I've found some whitetail sheds in there before. I'm like, I might want to think about this as a whitetail spot. So where I'm at is almost within seeing distance of places that you've seen us hunt elk before.
Oh man. Oh, there he is. Public land on our own.
The last minute of the last day.
Last year, Tim Lesser came to Montana. He's the guy, the product development guy from Leupold. He came to Montana, and I can see the ridge from where I'm hunting whitetails. I can see where Tim shot that mule deer. I'm like, holy cow, that's a nice buck. And I gave it a range, 149 yards, and Tim was ready. I mean, he was already leaned across the pack, had the CDS dials all dialed up, had the Howa, just waiting for the command to shoot. And I'm thinking, come on, buck, clear that brush. And he stood there. The buck just stood there behind the brush for what seemed like, I don't know, probably was only a minute or two, but it seemed like 10 minutes.
I'm on him. You good?
Yeah. He's dead. That is one big dead buck.
Thank you guys. Epic moments, that's what we do. Thank you so much.
What a shot.
Man. What a day.
So it's not like it's all one or all the other. We have all these species in similar areas using similar habitat. Yeah, the whitetails are in the lower ground, but the amount of opportunity that exists, the ease of getting tags for these whitetail hunts, I guess it just stuns me that there are not a lot of people doing it. If you think that this is, I guess, the exception to opportunities to hunt deer, especially whitetail deer in these areas of the West, go back to season 2 of On Your Own Adventures when myself and good buddy Terry Myers, we went to southeast Montana, Custer National Forest, and we shot 2 really nice whitetails on that hunt. And we saw many, many more. The idea is to show you that Western public land whitetail is so doable, so abundant in opportunity. There's usually some leftover tags in Montana that are good for whitetail. There's usually leftover tags in the prime whitetail areas of Wyoming. There's always leftover tags for whitetails in the prime areas of Idaho. And you go to eastern Washington, same thing. There's over-the-counter tags there. And a lot of people really aren't schooled at finding the locations they can hunt. If you can figure out how to read a map, read a GPS, go get there's a company called Onyx Maps. If you want to figure out a riddle of access for whitetail hunting in the West, these places you see us hunting, go get the Onyx Map system. You can get it, and it's called the Hunt app. Go get that, and you will be amazed at how many little pockets you will find in prime whitetail ground where you can go and have a public land hunt. That's how I find these places. Oh, that's a buck right there. That is a nice buck. While I'm sitting there, a really nice buck comes up right behind me. I never did get him on film, and I'm frustrated thinking, well, that might be my one chance to have killed a buck today. And not too much longer after that, I'm kind of looking around, enjoying the scenery, thinking, well, nothing else has been a fun hike. And a doe walks into this little opening where every year there's always a scrape down in this little bottom. It's, I don't know, it's maybe 40 feet across this opening, and then thick brush. When I get the camera all lined up and I'm filming her, I'm looking at her through the viewfinder thinking, man, if that was a buck, this would be the chance. And I no more than say that, and the doe's gone. I'm like, crap. Where'd she go? I forgot to turn the camera off, actually. Look in the viewfinder, I was gonna adjust a little bit of the settings, and I look and there's a buck standing in the viewfinder rubbing a tree. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, that's a buck right there. That is a nice buck. I'm like, holy crap, Randy, get your rifle. And so I get set up, I think it was like a little over 200 yards. And it's a pretty steep downhill angle, but with my rangefinder, it's Leupold makes this TBR, it's a true ballistic range. It compensates for that steep angle. And I'm gonna shoot that buck right there. Pretty sure I shot that buck right there.
Buck came out right down here at 180 yards. I don't know if it's a good shot, bad shot. It sounded good, it felt good, and I don't know. I tried to capture it on this camera. Tried to get this camera, capture me filming and shooting. I don't know what we got, but we're gonna find out because I'm gonna walk down there and check.
Well,
This is where the buck was standing. Right here, he was rubbing this tree that you see all scuffed up here. I see a bunch of hair on the snow here. I don't know if you can see all that, but I don't see any blood. And he took off this way. All kinds of hair on the snow there. Man, the shot felt perfect. I don't know how that could be. I'm not seeing any blood.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Howa Precision Rifles and Barreled Actions, Sitka Specialized Outdoor Wear and Equipment, Hunt by Onyx Maps, Land Ownership Hunting Maps, Nosler, when your tag is drawn, make it count, load Nosler up front, and by the Boone and Crockett Club.
And I look and there's a buck standing in the viewfinder rubbing a tree. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Grab my Howa, take it, line up, take a range, and the buck's standing there perfect broadside, like he read a script or something. And I hold on him, boom, I shoot, and from the recoil, all of a sudden he disappears. I'm like, how could I miss that shot? I could make that shot left-handed without a rest. And it's like, well, better view it in the viewfinder. So I'm watching it on the camera, and I'm like, man, he just took off running. He didn't even look hit. Pile up all my stuff, throw it in my pack, start walking down there. I'm like, if I miss this buck, I'm gonna be so mad. And where I get to where I can find the tree where he's been rubbing, there's fresh, like, little scrape stuff on top of this snow. But I don't see any blood. I'll leave my pack here. I'm gonna see how I can do this. Turn the camera around. Went right there. Went right there. No blood. Not good. He went in there. He comes out over here to my right. This is, I don't know how I could miss that buck, but I'm now, I don't know, 25 yards from where he was standing and not a drop of blood on the snow. This is not good. But I'm gonna keep following the track because I cannot believe I missed him. That's impossible at 200 yards. You would think if he was hit, he would have been bleeding by now. Oh, hold on, hold on. There's a couple little flakes of blood right on that snow there. Actually, there's blood. Don't tell me I just grazed him. Hold on, here's some blood up here. Look at that, here's some blood. That's good. He's 75 yards away before I found any blood. Sorry about the camera work on this, but I'm doing this all by myself and following this blood now for the last ways here. I see something laying up there. I think I see the buck laying right up there about another 30 yards away. Right there in front of me, I see an antler. Right there, and a dead deer. How about that, huh? Well, here we go, folks. Perfect.
absolute perfect heart shot. And that buck didn't bleed for 75 yards. This is it. He's not a monster, but he's a very nice buck. And I'm very, very happy to have him with one day to hunt. Just come down to a spot like this where I've seen bucks in here before when I've been elk hunting. And I'm up at high elevation, and most people do not think of whitetail bucks at high elevation in Montana. They think of them out in alfalfa fields and river bottoms, and there's a lot of them there. But this buck right here is at about, I'm guessing, a little over 6,000 feet elevation right now. If you don't hunt, you're merely a spectator in the natural world. We who hunt, we are participants, and we understand it. We know that this animal right here lived an amazing life, lived in the wild. I guess I'll never convince you that my hunting has value if you don't understand how this deer has once again connected me to a natural place, to a landscape that I am going to do everything I can to make sure this landscape stays productive, that this landscape stays intact, so that this deer's ancestors, its offspring, will always have a place to live. No other experience in life can give you the respect, the gratitude, the fondness, and the sense of responsibility for these wild animals. Nothing you can do in your life outside of hunting and putting them on your table as food and knowing that they are what feeds you. There is nothing I'm aware of in life that will connect you to these animals and these landscapes in that manner.